Am I the butthole for not paying for anything anymore for my stepdaughter? My stepdaughter 14, who really doesn't like me because she thinks her real dad is better, but he doesn't do anything to help. All he does is do crack and use his girlfriends for money. Believes her dad buys all the things she gets. Her birthday presents, toys, clothes, and gadgets are from me or her mom, but she honestly believes he gets them for her. She isn't just rude to me, she's rude to everyone. Like her mom or neighbor, or just people that bump into her. My wife has tried counseling and therapy, but it's only effective for a couple of days before she snaps. I haven't grounded her or anything. I leave the punishing to her mom, but she still can't behave. Recently her birthday came up and I bought her a phone she had been wanting, and she called her dad and thanked him while still being rude to me. I honestly am at my limit. I can't take this disrespect anymore. I know she's just a child, but it still gets to me. I told my wife I won't be paying for anything she needs or wants anymore. I'm not going to tolerate disrespect while still being financially responsible for her. My wife is saying I'm insensitive and in butthole, but I completely disagree. Am I the butthole? Edit 1. I will talk to her and stop paying for items unless she needs them. I will also take her to therapy again and try to be more patient. I will update if anything happens. Not the butthole. Why does she think her father is the one buying things? Is her mom lying, or do you tell her it's from you and she is in denial? Edit for verdict. Not the butthole. Make sure she has clothes, food and housing. The clothes don't have to be expensive. Extras, well, her father can buy those, or her mother. Maybe she will see that her father isn't the person she thinks he is. Not the butthole, but it's not going to help anything. Your first problem is with your wife, not your daughter. You both need to present a united front for discipline and how you represent reality to her. Tried counseling and therapy, but it's only effective for a couple of days. This is not how therapy works. She needs to be going regularly for a long time. Not the butthole. I do want to know why she thinks her father is the one buying all those items for her. It makes no sense. Does she not believe, or is it something else? Your frustration is understandable, but this is a question for a therapist. There has to be some reason. Doesn't make it acceptable that she is idolizing her father in this way. I know she's just a child, but it still gets to me. You're the butthole right there. You're a freaking adult. Taking anything a hormonal teenager says seriously is a rookie mistake. Believes her dad buys all the things she gets. Her birthday presents, toys, clothes, and gadgets are from me or her mom, but she honestly believes he gets them for her. Okay, so either she's delusional and needs help, or her dad is lying to her, and that needs addressed. She isn't just rude to me, she's rude to everyone. Like her mom or neighbor, or just people that bump into her. So she's a typical teenager. Add in that her biological father is a deadbeat druggie. This is basically par for the course. My wife has tried counseling and therapy, but it's only effective for a couple of days before she snaps. So you aren't following through on counseling? I told my wife I won't be paying for anything she needs or wants anymore. I'm not going to tolerate disrespect while still being financially responsible for her. That's neglect? You don't have to like her, but as an adult in charge of her care, it is your responsibility to provide for her needs. Yeah, you're the butthole. Try a couple of child development textbooks. This is all stereotypical stuff. Unfortunately, everyone sucks here. This is a child. You are an adult. This is a child with a parent who is negligent, caught in his own substance misuse patterns, and has essentially bailed on his daughter's life. Girl has trauma and is handling a lot. The way she is handling is by being a butthole to everyone around her. As the adult in this situation, you don't get to give up on a 14-year-old. You married her parent. You stepped into the step-parent role. Now you actually have to do it. You say mom tried therapy and mom tried counseling. Did you participate in both of those things too? Do you have your own therapist and support for the difficulties you're experiencing? You need help too. But you also don't get to throw up your hands and quit on a kid who is literally dependent on you. It's a rough gig, But you don't get to just quit because it's harder than you thought. So yeah, be angry, be annoyed, talk with a therapist, get comfort from your spouse, and then pull up your pants and be a parent. More often than not, when teens are in denial to such a strong extent, it's because they literally cannot understand or imagine why a parent would be so terrible to them while this new person would be kind. And if they believe someone who should love them doesn't, then obviously they must be a terrible person who no one can love. So they go out of their way to prove that logic. Behaving in a way that is unlovable to prove they are unlovable while making every effort to assert the parent who is neglecting them is amazing and must love them. That's a hell of a place to be. I understand you don't get it and it's horrible to be chronically treated like poop. But this kid is in a really bad way. And you're the adult. Not the butthole. I am a stepfather. Had my stepson acted like that, I would just tell him that he can ask his dad for the phone. I buy all your food, clothes and sports equipment. I'm sure your dad will get you the phone if you ask him. Soft, you're the butthole. In the wise words of Bobby Singer, kids ain't supposed to be grateful. They're supposed to eat your food and break your heart. I get that you don't want to allow the disrespect anymore, and it's one thing to let her know what is and isn't acceptable. But you presumably are financially responsible for her in some way, and while you can stop buying her the big wants, a fancy new phone she wanted, you can't just stop providing for her needs because your feelings got hurt. She's a kid, and she's lashing out because she knows it gets under your skin. Not the butthole, but how do you see it playing out? It feels like this could end up driving a wedge between you and your wife. She is obviously trying to help her daughter, but this might make her choose between you and the daughter. I try to find a different way, maybe go with your stepdaughter to buy gifts, so she can see you paying. Cutting her off is the nuclear option, whether deserved or not. Everyone sucks here. The kid's messing up, but you and your wife should have handled this at the first sign of the delusion levels of denial. Tell her that you'll be taking her shopping for gifts in the future, but don't just give her things anymore. You're the butthole. So many angry parents here who prefer to punish their kids for behavior they can't control instead of listening to them. So many people here wanting to punish a kid for having complex emotions instead of working it out with them because that makes it easier for them, not for the kids. Sit the kid down and just have a normal, calm conversation. It doesn't have to be about the problem at hand at first, it can be about literally anything. Show them you're a normal individual with your own wants, needs and flaws. Then ask gently what is bothering her so much about you. If she lashes out, she's not ready to have that conversation yet, and that's totally fine. At least she'll hopefully recognize your attempt at a normal interaction, and she'll sooner or later appreciate that. Kids respond a million times better if they're allowed to feel what they're feeling. Emotions are new and terrifying, especially in complex situations like that. I know plenty of adults in these situations who have no idea what to make of it, so please don't expect a child to have it all figured out. Figure it out together with them. Let the kid know you're on her side, and please have patience. Too many parent figures lash out at or shun their kids whenever they seem to be uncontrollable and think proving their point is going to make the problem go away. Right now, the kid doesn't see you're there for them. Don't prove her right by depriving her of something. Just listen to her. It's all she wants, trust me. Please don't give her a way to justify her negative feelings for you by being petty. Don't blame her for having emotions that we all would have in this situation, and don't blame her for expressing them in the only way she knows. You'll only prove her point. Info. Do you have split finances with your wife? Info. There seems to be something underlying her rudeness and denial that isn't in your post. Have you tried family counseling? Does she see her dad, or is she romanticizing from a distance? Is this a recent change in behavior? Not the butthole. I was a stepchild. By 14 she knows what she is doing. At some point, there needs to be consequences. She doesn't have to treat you like her real dad, but the disrespect is too much. Her mom can buy her the stuff she needs if she is going to treat you this way. This is going to be an unpopular opinion, but there's no variety in these comments and nobody seems to have any empathy for stepdaughter, so please read this before reacting. Original poster, you're the butthole. Your stepdaughter is 14. Only 14. A lot of people are saying she's old enough to know better, and while that's true in theory, that's silly in reality. Doesn't anyone here remember when they were 14? There's all these hormones and feelings that you don't need to cope with, and you're going through all these changes. While she might know better, she probably doesn't have the ability or maturity to act better yet. Look at the maturity difference between a 14-year-old and an 18-year-old, for instance. Big difference. Hell, there's a big difference between a 14-year-old and a 15-year-old. And then she's got all these awful things going on in her life? She must be really struggling right now. According to you, her dad is a drug addict who is always with a different girl each week. He obviously doesn't look after her or buy her nice things. He's probably been downright abusive to her, judging by the crack. That's an awful thing for a child to witness. She would feel like he doesn't care about her or love her. She probably thinks it's her fault in some way. Can you imagine how that little girl would feel, knowing that she's not a good enough reason for her dad to clean up his act? That would suck. Also, as a psychologist in the comments pointed out, kids in relationships like this tend to cling to the unstable parental figure because they're terrified that they'll abandon them, and push away the stable parental figure because they know that they're not going to leave, and she has to express her feelings somehow. Honestly, I think you need to step up and get your stepdaughter into therapy ASAP. Her behavior is seriously concerning and is a big red flag to me. She has had to deal with some very traumatic things in her short life, and it's obviously done some damage. She needs your support and her mom's support more than anything right now. Punishing her like this will make things a million times worse. Also, I highly recommend family therapy. It will really help improve your relationship in the long run if you put in the work. Also, I am concerned about how you seem to give up on therapy because it wasn't an instant fix. Getting better isn't linear. She is going to have some ups and downs, and it will probably seem like it's not working for a while. It can take years to see an improvement, and you might have to shop around for the right therapist for her, as if she doesn't click with them it won't work. That being said, it is absolutely worth it. Your stepdaughter is practically screaming out for help. Please don't ignore her. It won't end well if you do. When it comes to her not believing that you bought her things, that is straight up denial that comes from trauma. You need to be patient. Another comment suggested that you take her to buy things with you instead of just giving them to her, so I think you should give that a go. Also, how long have you been married to your wife? How old was your stepdaughter when this happened? This could be another big contribution to the issues you're having. Also, do not speak badly of her dad in front of her, and if you have before, you need to apologize and never do it again. She idolizes her dad because if she takes him off of that pedestal she's put him on, she'll have to come to terms with how awful he really is, and she's obviously not ready for that. I know it might be hard, but you can't speak ill of him in front of her or anywhere she could hear, because this will hurt her and your relationship with her. So, while I do believe you're being the butthole, I know you're just frustrated, and I know that you can put in the work to improve this. I wish all the best to you and your family, and remember that kindness and patience is key, even at the worst of times. Especially at the worst of times. Edit. Oh my god, my first award, this is so exciting. I'm so glad I'm not the only one who thinks this. Not the butthole. From a response below, you said she just doesn't believe you when the gifts are really from you. Her mother should probably be doing more to solve the problem, but it doesn't seem like that's happening. All it takes is one holiday or birthday or not getting her something, and she will see the reality of it. What if you just ignored the whole who buys what thing and spent time with her doing something fun? Like if you want her to respect you, don't talk about her dad or who buys what, just talk to her and hang out. People tend to respect people who listen to them and show that they like them. Not the butthole. As long as you pay your half the bills, keep a roof over their head, and pay for the groceries, your wife can keep paying for this fantasy of her daughter. You shouldn't be obligated to blow extra money on a teenager that is disrespectful. Not the butthole. I think you need to have a more formal conversation with your wife about how you feel. 14-year-olds tend to change with time, but it'll be a few years. It won't help. She'll just tell people you are blocking her father from giving her things. If her dad is a crackhead, I'm assuming she never sees him. If she does, why? So maybe this is her desperate attempt to make him not horrible? If you stop providing her with things she needs and her mom is unable to, you would be a butthole. By all means, don't buy her gifts, but it sounds like she needs therapy. Like, consistent, ongoing therapy. I think the most important thing is getting to the root of these issues. Family issues can be confusing for those caught in the middle. I also think she needs a counselor who she sees consistently to get to the bottom of things. Usually there's a reason. Not the butthole. You don't need to get her anything that isn't a necessity. You're the butthole. She is a child. She is a child dealing with a divorce, and a drug-addicted father. You are an adult. She needs comprehensive therapy that lasts longer than a few days. There was this same exact story on here a few months ago, maybe longer. Stepdad was paying for a big vacation and stepdaughter kept going on about how much her real dad does and how stepdad isn't her real dad. There was an update shortly how they had a talk and stepdaughter broke down because she didn't understand why her real dad didn't love her as much or wanted to be in her life. This is the same exact situation. I doesn't think bio dad is paying for everything. She wants to think her bio dad loves her. Cutting her off is only going to prove to her that she has two fathers who don't love her. You're not entitled to keep buying her expensive gifts, but the problem is going to still be there. This is just a symptom of the real problem. Very gentle. You're the butthole. This child needs more help. Edit. Web link. Not the butthole, but you might want to reconsider wording. You are somewhat obliged to provide her with what she needs. On the other hand, you don't have to get her things she wants, only those she needs. Not the butthole. The child is rude. And needs a wake-up. I would not pay for anything until she learns not to be rude. And she needs a better counselor. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.